Hello there.
Hey, everybody.
Hi,
Welcome to TFT, Tarot for Today, Divine Gamblings with
Oberon.
and me, Banshee. Welcome. Welcome to the show. Look at all those hearts and stars. That's wonderful, Jane.
It's
Thank
almost
you.
as if you
And
knew
flowers.
I brought out my Pride Tarot deck for
Ah,
Pride Month.
nice.
Yes,
Nice. Very good. Well, I don't have a Pride Tarot. I have one that's kind of new. I have some that are more neutral tarots,
you
but
got this for me, didn't you? Or
I
you told me
do
to get
have
it?
it in the mix. I believe I did get that for you, sir.
Love is love.
But I do have the tarot at the end of the rainbow, and we can just pretend it's a
Well,
rainbow.
leprechauns are gay.
Okay.
Thank the goddess.
Well,
Hi, Sunny. Sunny makes
welcome
three.
everybody. Geez, I see it's just two of you. But don't worry, I'm sure Carol will be here. Sunny has arrived, so I'm sure Carol will be here and some other people will be coming in. Thursdays sometimes get slow at certain times of the year. We can never figure out why, but that's just the way it is sometimes. All right. I
There she is.
Kara, I already put your name on the list.
We knew you would come because he just showed up.
Well, but I also said I was doing it because I know we've been talking. And I did go, thanks for giving me the timestamp. I did go check that out. It's very interesting. I
Indeed.
let Mr. O a little bit in on that.
So
So
I once again brought the Ghost Tarot.
we will be ready for your question. All right.
Sunny Bunny.
Wow, so many crazy things going on in the news. This whole breakup with Trump and Elon. And so, I'm a little bit of a cynic myself. And so I was wondering if this bromance, this breakup was real or not. And so I decided to do a quick yes no reading on it earlier. And I kind of got confirmation. It was leaning towards yes, but the card I got in the middle was the Three of Cups reversed. And the Three of Cups reversed, of course, is about kind of a breakup of friendships and stuff like that, feeling betrayed or not supported by the other person. I couldn't believe that popped up in there. And I'm like, that's good enough for me. Okay. So it's kind of funny. Um, but anyway, let's see if our cards are on a roll for us tonight. We'll figure out what's going on for you guys. Today, I'm going to be using for the collective the Midnight Sun Oracle. I'm using that in the Season of the Witch one interchangeably. I'll probably use the Season of Witch Summer Solstice one on Sunday.
And just another reminder, but on Saturday, happy hour will be later. It will be at 4 p.m. Mr. O's work schedule has me at the opposite end. Therefore, happy hour at the opposite end.
Thanks for mentioning that right now. We'll bring it up
Sure.
again as more people come in. That's right.
So
Sometimes, go ahead.
if you have notifications, you'll find out anyway.
Well, sometimes when I can't, my material matters, I announce the time, but I'm never completely sure, especially if Mr. O is gone when I'm filming the show and I can't check in with him. So, oh, well, this is interesting. This deck is very ethereal, so maybe hard to see, but this is called the Midsummer Broom.
Hi, Libra.
Hi, Libra. This card is called the Midsummer Broom, and it's for clearing and protection.
Yeah, that's a little
It's
pastel.
very faint. All right, what number was that? Shoot, 25, I think.
25.
Yeah. All right. Preparations are a big part of midsummer celebrations. And part of that is making sure your house is clean. Oh boy, we don't got much time, Mr. O. Traditionally, brooms made out of different materials from nature were used to sweep the floors of the homes to get them midsummer ready. The broom could consist of branches of birch and different kinds of dried flowers or leaves. Back in the day, it was a common belief that the midsummer broom had magical powers and possessed the ability of protection. This card may be an indication that you have some negative energy in your life or in your home that needs to be cleared out. Sometimes we procrastinate for too long and get overwhelmed by the things we need to do. It's true. Uh, anyway, cleaning and clearing out is a good way to bring back motivation and get the feeling of a clean slate. And you could find yourself more energized to action things you've avoided dealing with. Cleaning up the physical part of your life can also help with clearing mental blockages or negative feelings. You can also add things into your physical space so you feel help keep the negativity out. Candles, incense, or other smells you like. Or if you are more a visual person, you can use flowers or other things from nature that you connect with. You could create your own midsummer broom on a large or small scale and hang it in your home to keep that good energy flowing. It is a good time for some house clearing, I think, at midsummer. Would you agree?
I agree.
Yeah.
I'll supervise and you can do the work.
Well, I'm thinking clearing too, clearing out the energy. Cleaning, yes, but clearing also is another matter.
And of course, folklorically, some cultures have a little spell or ritual where one uses a broom to kind of clean your home of unwanted guests or overstaying guests. I won't talk about the mechanics of that. I guess there's a couple variations on how to do this. You just need a broom.
Yep. And also, if you feel the need to, protect your home, set up some boundaries, barriers, for keeping unwanted spirits away, feel free to do so. Go around with sage or incense and clear your space. And that's what we have for the collective.
Already.
Cleaning, of course, at this time of year is also good to, as they said, get the energy and your juices flowing. Maybe take care of some projects, clean, like some clutter projects that you have been putting off. Focus on one. It's always easier when you don't make it
Thank you.
too hard on yourself, right? Okay, that's what I have for the collective. And tell me why, Mr. O, I did a senior thing here and put my cards in the wrong spot. Okay. That was a pretty good collective. Thank you, Jamie. All right, let's get on with this. Hey, it might be a very short show tonight. We'll certainly be able to cover some announcements and maybe have some chat, but my goodness, we'll see what happens. We'll see who shows up. Okay, so let's see who is first. I have Jamie
Jamie
Scott
with the most
first.
interesting question.
Okay, I didn't read it yet, so yeah,
Excuse
check
me.
it out there. There it is. Hmm. Okay. All right. So there's something going on. There's still some kind of connection you can't break. All
Excuse
right.
me.
Do you want to use the deck?
I do. I have it
Okay.
right here. I'm
Which one?
using my new Ethereal. It's
Okay.
really kind of cool. All goldy and stuff. So,
Well, we have very poor air quality outdoors today. It happened after my workout, thankfully, that it just sunk down all the bad smoke from the Canadian wildfires. And so we're staying in. We got the windows shut, even though it's cool enough to open them. And got to be careful till about noon tomorrow, and it might dissipate a little bit. We'll get a reprieve for a day or two. But they said this is going to be ongoing for a while because the wildfires, are still burning. I'm thinking of getting an air purifier very soon. Really very.
all right. Ace of Wands,
Hmm.
King of Swords.
Upright? Yeah.
Yes, it's upright. Both of those are upright. And the reversed Three of Wands.
Hmm. All right, hold on.
The Crossroads. And the Star.
Hmm. Well, it is intriguing. Almost all of them are upright. That three of wands is not, and that is kind of intriguing to me.
Well, when that ace first hit, I said, there's something that still connects you in business of some sort of enterprise, some sort of networking, something.
Maybe some unfinished business, something
Yes.
that you started, and it's kind of just hanging there still. This person or yourself, somehow there's still this attachment because of what was begun. Now, when I think of the Ace of Wands, it could be something like the beginning of a friendship or partnership or relationship, etc. So, I mean, it could just be talking about that what you started is still hanging on. And somebody here, the King of Swords, somebody has to be willing to make sure that they're told well, and you may feel you've done this already, but maybe you have to keep at it. The cord needs to be cut. The choice has to be made to cut whatever this connection is. And if it's on more of a spiritual astral level, and I can't rule that out because the swords are those airy kind of cards here, that the decision has to be made on that level. So it's got to be more on a mystical, magical level that you cut this off.
Right, and I don't know if you do any of this kind of, work, but some people, maybe build up the idea of that cord on a visual level, and then they visualize themselves cutting the cord or untying it. You may have to,
Have a physical cord to do that with too
right.
and go through that sympathetic magic motions of cutting it.
Uh,
Did you want to say anything about him?
A little bit,
Yeah.
because I sort of get the feeling like that's the other energy too, in a way that
Maybe.
maybe this is a strong personality that to some degree, because they're involved in that too, that they're
That's a
part
good
of that
point.
unfinished thing, that maybe that's part of it. Maybe they don't totally want to end this either, and so that's a part of it. I don't know. I'm getting up a little bit of
They
confusion with
feel
that king.
righteous because if that's
Yeah.
representing them, they feel righteous in holding on the way they may be.
Well, just because one has the power to make a decision doesn't mean they're going to.
Yeah.
I mean, and of course, that's still a decision, like the old song, if you choose to make a choice. So maybe that's part of their power too, is that they're withholding that finality somehow.
And the other thing, Jamie, if this is about, what I've said about, having to make that decision to cut that cord, you have to really, really be sure there is no second thoughts or anything inside of you that's maybe working against making that final cut. Make sure you're totally mentally, emotionally all in, spiritually on doing that. And finally,
The Three of Wands.
yeah.
What do you think?
Well, I think here that what this is saying is that, you know, maybe maybe this is saying some of the things that you have tried just haven't been working, and it's time to like I said, go back and work on this process all over again. I'm not sure this is like an outcome card here, this final card. I think what this is saying, though, is what you've been trying maybe has not been working. Oh, you want to get rid of your gifts. Well,
I think in some way this reverse Three of Wands could represent the idea of some of the things that still are holding you together, whether it is missed opportunities, because that could be the literal meaning there. And in a way, that does make it seem like it has that past life connection, that maybe there's something here that is supposed to be noticed and acted upon, but it's kind of stalled, or it's not ready to really be activated. I don't even know if the clue could possibly come through the Lenormand, because whenever I see the crossroads, sometimes I think this is saying there's a pause and you really have to think about all of this, and that it's not just the actions that we may be telling you you should try doing this or you should consider this, but it's also really thinking it all out, and you're probably really thought out about it.
Right. Well, I think I've said what I've wanted to with the Three of Wands.
Sunny.
But what I would say with the Lenormand is that whether this is about, you wanting to get rid of your gifts or not, I think what this is saying here is that, cutting this cord, totally moving beyond this, will put you on a more positive path. I think maybe you have been stuck, you've been at a crossroads, but the star is now here. Let your higher self guide you, okay? um you know Higher wisdom is not necessarily what I would consider our psychic gifts. That's something that's always with us. We have a higher wisdom and knowledge within about what's right, what's wrong for us, etc. Intuition, even aside. And so I would say this: listen to your higher wisdom, and follow a more positive path. Once you do this working, do things to reinforce the letting go of this situation. Do things to reinforce it. Whatever it is, do things that you would never have done if you were still attached to this person, etc. Just do something different and try to reinforce I'm on a different path now. That's what I think.
All right. Good luck with that.
Good luck with that. Yeah. Give it up. Let it go. Just be definitive about cutting those cords. And you know what? If they're doing that to you on the panels, etc., I would just say this: they're trying to get under your skin, and by just allowing it to keep being there, you're letting it happen. So you have to be bigger than this and ignore it. I can't tell you how many people out here, in social media land, etc., that, get under my skin routinely, but I've been able to finally let them go. And I mean, you can mute people, you can just totally cut them off. Even if other people are telling you what's going on, just say, hey, thanks a lot, but I don't need to hear this anymore. I'm on a different path now. And let it go. Just don't give it any power. Because if you give it even an ounce of power, you're letting them win, kind of.
I think
So
you're
don't
right
do
about
it.
it being jealousy related too, Jamie's.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
Good luck.
I know. I feel for you on that.
Yeah, I do too.
There's lots of nastiness in the world today, let me tell you.
And sometimes the things that your karmic friends teach you aren't really what you thought you were going to be taught, or what you thought you needed to be taught, but maybe at some point you realize what that lesson or what that concept you take away should be.
Yeah, a karmic friendship could be a lot of different things. I mean, they don't always have to be happy karmic. And maybe somebody has told you that it was, but maybe in this lifetime, it's not playing out that way. It's not meant to play out that way. Maybe there's some lessons you have to learn. And maybe what it's also doing is it's possibly veering you away from that person in timelines going forward now. It's possible.
I'm so sorry it hurt you so bad. I can feel that.
Well, all best wishes to you. Heartache is tough.
Maybe we'll see you on happy hour.
We had an interesting goth tarot this week about the subject of betrayal.
Betrayal.
Betrayal was the shadow work for the month of June. So if you want to check that out and then keep up with Mr. O's Goth Tarot, he does an update every week on that shadow card to see how we're doing. But obviously, you feel very betrayed. And there's a way to deal with betrayal in constructive
Thank you.
manners. So maybe, it'll help. I'm just throwing that out
That's
there.
why we love you, Jamie's, because you stay for all the readings.
Good luck with
You're
that.
like a couple of our greatest friends here.
Alrighty, Ari is up. What does Ari have for us today?
I think Aries said general.
What is my
Oh,
intuition trying to tell me about my love life at this moment? Okay,
right. I need the Lenormand.
I shall give it to you. There you go.
Right.
And what deck do I want to use for
And
this?
speaking of emotional exchanges, my show, The Emotional Exchanges, is on tomorrow.
Oh,
It's two cards for each sign of the zodiac. The first card tells you what is that kind of vibe or energy that's coming to you this upcoming week. And then the second one is, will you be lucky in love, romance, etc.? So that's the emotional exchanges. It drops down at 7 a.m., but you can watch it at any time. Thank you.
Sonny, lose the computer a little bit. And I need the shuffle space. Well, I do have this, I guess.
This iced tea is delicious.
Oh, I wasn't sure if you were going to drink it tonight. Nice. After having tea.
I know. I need the jazz.
I'm going to save mine for tomorrow. I got myself a raspberry iced tea. I'm drinking some water with a little hint of grape juice in it right now. I like to use a little bit of juice in my water to flavor it.
Sunny is cute. You know, that's what Jamie says. Our evolution here has been kind of interesting because the first year, which was now like 5 years ago, it
Yes.
was more Sassy up here than him. And Sassy had her fan club too. There was
It was
one.
short lived though,
It was
because somebody
short-lived. Yeah, it wasn't very long.
took over.
But she had a follower who always called her Sad Eyes.
That's right. I remember that.
Mhm.
Yep. Okay. So the question again is, what is the intuition saying about love life? Oh, well, it's the Page of Wands reversed. Those darn chili peppers. The Hierophant is here. More chili peppers. It's the Nine of Chili Peppers reversed.
Is that Wands?
Yes,
How did I know?
because it's hot stuff.
Oh, that's it.
It's fire.
And there it is, the Nine of Wands. Okay, so let's look at our letter box.
I like
It is a
this
cute
deck.
deck. I love the coloration.
Yeah, I love it. Southwestern. It's nice.
All right, so we also have the Tower and the Cross.
Dang it.
I know. So Page of Wands, Page of Chili Peppers, reversed. Um, what is it about your
It's about what is the intuition saying about their love life right now. I didn't want to do my reading on
okay,
it, so it's
right.
three cards.
So I sort of feel like there's not a lot of communication going on. There's not a lot of things that are connecting you,
Thank
or
you.
not strongly at
That's
least.
it. I was just going to say that right now, according to the cards anyway, that it just seems as though nothing is, there's no invitations or no big things happening right now in your love life. It's hard to get something started, maybe get something off the ground. Um, I think your intuition or whatever is, I'm looking at two things here. Well, oh, the Hierophant is really bothering me because I've got two messages coming about this. But I think one of them is that it seems like it's just the status quo for now, Ari. Not much is changing in the relationship environment right now. And my second message is because the Hierophant here and the Tower is here in the Lenormand, and both of those cards can indicate marriage. I think you're obviously, your intuition realizes you want this. This is your end goal. You want a marriage. But right now, it just seems like things are not moving in that direction or moving very slowly. It's very status quo.
Well, first of all, Ari, I'd have to say you read these cards pretty good yourself. You even understand a little bit of the difference with the Tower's Lenormand from Tarot's Tower. So I think that's pretty cool. But I can't disagree with Banshee. I sort of feel like this is a waiting period, and a part of it could be that just you have set yourself certain standards. And of course, that's great, but you're keeping yourself from getting involved in something that maybe you won't like that. So you're holding yourself to a certain standard in your love life. And then that Nine of Wands.
Hi, Christine.
Hi, Christine.
I don't disagree with Ari on the Nine of Wands, though. I mean, it's not
Okay.
the end of the world kind of card, but
Sure.
when it's reversed, it kind of indicates that you feel like giving up sometimes, or you want to throw your hands in the air and just say, what do I need to do here?
Well,
I've tried everything.
I'm getting a different vibe from that. I
Do
think your
you?
vibe is good, but I'm thinking the vibe could be saying that if something does happen that could be interesting, you might not be prepared for it because maybe you're thinking about your job, you're thinking about other things, and you might miss an opportunity, or you might not come off the way you want to with somebody because you weren't really ready for that. Just a thought.
Maybe. You do say you're communicating with people, so maybe the card is wrong about that, but it does seem to indicate that there may be delays or, difficulties in getting things started. So you're communicating, and that's half the battle, but of course something has to come out of that. And I'm not seeing it right now with that card, but I will say this, the Nine of Wands here is just like, it's a defeatist attitude. Like you've really have felt kind of down about at least some of the people you had been connecting with, with nothing, either nothing coming out of it, or some of them just being really not your type, etc., or not marriage material. Let's put it that way. So I'm looking at the Lenormand and I'm thinking to myself here, there's also this sense of you're thinking, this is usually about long term grief and stuff, but I'm feeling here this is already underway. You have just been wanting for so long to connect with the right person, the person that you think you could build a life with, this marriage, this institution, this foundation. And so I think that's what you have been going through, that you just feel it's taking too long.
I could agree with that. I'm going to go back to the Nine of Wands because I'm wondering too if this is also the kind of vibe that some of the men you're meeting. You're meeting a lot of men, but maybe most of these men are more interested in a casual relationship. They don't want to necessarily think about where it's leading to. They just want to do casual dating. And so that represents you saying, some of that's good up to a point, but that's not where you're really at. You're goal driven here. And so it is harder for you to make the right connection with that regard. And therefore that leads to that idea that, it may take you longer, that the road towards, a better union is just going to take longer than you're liking. Hi,
Yeah,
Helga.
I mean, and you got to remember today, I mean, the tarot's just a snapshot in time. I'm feeling here
Okay.
these vibes are
Fair.
subject to change, but I have a feeling here that June might be a little sluggish for a while. It's possible towards the nearer to the end of the month that things might change, But I do feel like right now it just seems like it's more the status quo. You're connecting with people, maybe you're reaching out, but it's hard to get something off the ground right now. Something that looked good.
Well, you know what? I'm looking at what she wrote there, and I can appreciate that, Ari. And so the Hierophant and maybe the Tower from Lenormand to some degree represent the idea that you have to kind of be more or less, I don't want to say forceful, but pretty forward about what your intentions are. Not right away, of course, but sort of saying, and this is where it's at with me. And so that's calling for you to be upfront to some degree about where you feel you're at in the dating game in general or in your love life in general. Is like just basically say, this is, my position.
It's possible here that this
You're
could
so
just
sweet.
be talking about one thing up and coming. I will say that maybe something that you hoped would be, you set up a date, you get an invitation, and it gets canceled. So I'm wondering if maybe
Okay.
it's just one episode that's coming up. I can't rule that out, but it just seems like this is the Hierophant is the elephant in the room here to me because it kind of makes me feel as though it's going to be pretty much status quo for a while.
Right, so this may not be that hot tickets summer you were hoping for, or may not happen exactly the same way or right away.
Yeah. I would say maybe not on Sunday. You can ask a different question if you come on Sunday, but maybe next week, Thursday, if you want to ask this again, we'll see if things are shifting a little bit. We'll see what the cards have to say.
Well, it certainly sounds like you're doing your part of the work.
Yeah, I think so. I wish you luck.
Good
Hopefully
luck.
things will, hopefully this will be a hot summer after all. Good
I
luck with that.
know.
All right.
So
Well,
Helga, we have you on the list.
we do.
Well, did you see Helga came in?
Ta-da.
All right, there you go.
Hi, Helga. I just didn't get a chance to greet you.
And we're on Kara now.
Kara has a very interesting question
Yeah.
because Kara attended another podcast and and there she thinks she connected with her grandmother who passed away, her nana, and she asked for a message, and one came through that just said, "Get ready." And so Kara wants to know what she should get ready for. Am I right, Kara? That's the question, right?
3 years is a very long time. I can't disagree with that.
Yep. No, I agree. Jeez.
All right, so once again, I'm going to use the Ghost Tarot for this. You're welcome, of course.
I think so too. You're long overdue, Aries. I wish you luck. If I could wave my magic wand and make it so, I would. And we know somebody, one of our former, and I don't think she'd mind me saying this, one of the people who used to come here a lot, Gina, who I still connect with, she has been single all her life and she loves being single. Now, people who really want a marriage, though, I feel for that. Uh, Nothing wrong with staying single, that's for sure.
Well, Aries is a very young person, so I'm not going to suggest that she be single
Oh,
forever.
no.
Alrighty.
Then
Okay.
again, I'm 54. There you go.
So the question is, what should you get ready for? Right?
Yes.
All right. Card one.
Was that reversed?
Reverse King of Cups.
Oh,
Reverse Nine of Pentacles. Okay. I think in context. But it's the upright Ten of Cups.
oh,
So I like that. Nana pulled one out for
kind
you.
of like that.
Nana wrote you a letter.
I'm not sure it's Nana.
Oh no. Uh-oh. It's Nana's evil twin sister, right? Your great aunt.
Hmm. Well, this is certainly interesting.
Of course. Well,
Oh, I can't wait to hear what you guys say. Go on.
okay. Well, the King of Cups reversed, it could be a tough love thing. I mean, Nana may be saying there are people who are going to be cruel or mean to you. Be ready for that, of course. You know, that maybe this is a warning about somebody in particular. Maybe it's more metaphoric, like love or your love life. But of course, that doesn't seem to be an issue for you necessarily. But I think she's talking about, something, cruel or unkind happening. And of course, that could be, the fate of the world, currently. Are we going to, become involved in World War III or who knows what?
I think the King of Cups. It's really interesting. Nana might be saying that, yes, be prepared for kind of an emotional assault of some sort. I mean, and when I say that, Kara, I just mean in that something that someone says or someone does is going to affect you emotionally. It's going to make you either hurt or feel sad. And I feel here, I want to go right into that Nine of Pentacles because for some reason I'm getting the sense that Nana is saying, don't let them make you feel any less than you are. You are, you're living a good life. You have what you need and want, and don't let them make you feel that you are less than who you are. Um, I don't know. That's sort of what I'm
Well,
feeling.
Nana, and so I'm just sort of extrapolating from both the second and third card. Nana could be saying too that even if financial circumstances change for you and things are not as great as they are now, and you have more, problems in your life financially mostly or material wise, there's still going to be a lot of great love. That's the Ten of Cups.
Can I ask you a question, Kara? Is there any kind of inheritance related to Nana coming to the family? I mean, I would assume it would go to your mom. It's your mom's mom, right? Or, other family members. But I'm wondering here too, could it be a squabble about some of Nana's things that maybe you
The
were
Nine of
hoping
Pentacles,
to
yeah.
get from her? Yeah, because that makes me wonder here. Um, I'm just throwing that out there. I'm not really sure about that, but it was a thought because
Ah, you
that could
say you think so. Okay. And it could be, there could be
okay.
something going on.
So it might be something like that, something that maybe you were hoping to keepsake or something
Is that why the letter's
precious
there?
from what?
Is that why the letter's there?
I'm not getting to that yet, but it could
Okay.
be. It could be. No, I'm looking back at this disappointment
Okay.
that something maybe that you really wanted of Nana's, might, cause some bitterness if you don't get it. And so she just wants you to know she doesn't love you any less. You're not any less a person for not getting this. Or it's like I've said before, don't let whatever this upset that's coming your way make you feel less than who you are. Value yourself. And finally, what is that?
The Ten of Cups.
Oh yeah.
All right.
I just think I just think Nana is again feeling very close to you, very connected with you. She wants you to know she's still with you. I think this Ten of Cups, because it is the Ten of Cups, she's gonna be always and she's gonna always be there to try to help you succeed.
But be ready for some real happiness
Yeah,
too.
it's
I mean,
possible here
be
she's saying
ready for that.
ultimately,
And of course, although I'm saying that, I got that glimmer too of maybe something legalese going on. And like, so if that's a letter or document maybe about something, that's the lawyer. That snake is the lawyer. Okay, maybe that's
that's nice. I like what he did there, actually. That's kind of clever. And I wouldn't rule that out because a letter can be a legal document like a will or something like that, but it could also just be a letter or communication from somebody who may be trying to deceive you about something. So I don't know if this is somebody in the family or if this is Nana just cautioning you about some other situation in your life that somebody is not being totally upfront with that you are communicating with. And it can cause you some sadness and sorrow. Oh, yeah, you've talked about them before, I think.
So he's the dark sheep of the family,
Well, or to Kara
or
anyway.
to Kara,
Yeah.
or to Nana.
Well,
Who knows,
yeah.
right?
So maybe that person has something to do with this. I don't know. But
Interesting.
she wants you to take it in stride because when the Nine of Pentacles is upright or reversed, it's really not a horrible card either way. It's on the one card time you're not valuing things appropriately. You're not looking at yourself as being as accomplished as maybe you are. And so that's why, in relation to your question, I said it the way I did.
Well, the other thing too is that when all is said and done, what you value or should value the most maybe is the emotional feels from Nana, not necessarily
Oh,
the
I like
physical
that
items
too.
that may come your way.
That's a
I,
good point. And that's maybe what's leading into the Ten of Cups there.
I like that too.
Yeah.
There you go.
Nana would rather you think about her and love her for who she was, that you don't need a piece of her. You need her here, in your heart. And that's what counts to Nana. Either way, I think this is an interesting reading. And just the fact that it came up the way it did on that show just proves my point that Nana's sticking around for you. She's going to be an ally of yours. I think you can count on that. Good luck with that.
Good luck.
And Libra is up.
And Libra wanted a general reading. All right.
Hey, you're welcome, Kara, anytime.
You're welcome, Kara.
All right. Libra wanted general?
Yes.
Let's see.
I'm going to go back just to make sure.
Let me get my hippie deck. I call it that because it's got all those 60s images and colors.
Yes, there it is. General. Okay. Very cool. And of course, we're happy to be here tonight, but we're also on Sunday too. And that shows the opposite. This one's very busy. We have to fight off people. uh,
Often, yes.
and we often go into overtime there, whereas tonight seems to be a slower night. All
Well,
right.
general
General
reading for
reading.
Libra starts out with the Chariot, upright. Oh, our card of the day is here, but reversed.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Lovers reversed.
The lovers.
Oh my goodness, okay. Maybe I'm crazy, but I thought it was you, Libra. Did you have three major arcana last time? Because you're
Sounds
correct
familiar.
again. Look at this. The
Sounds
Empress
familiar.
is reversed.
And the Empress reversed. Okay. So I'm going to pull the Lenormand.
I don't want to start yet, but boy, do I see something here.
The Moon, and the Garden.
Hmm.
What do you think?
I don't know about those, but I think I got to go with what I was going to say, and I'll see how I
Okay.
can factor those in. But the Chariot to me says, Libra, that you're moving towards making some bad choices or decisions, or maybe saying the wrong thing at the wrong time, maybe not thinking things through properly, maybe going against even some of the things that some of your own values and the way you feel about things, just going against your own ethos. Um, so you're moving towards that, and basically, this won't serve you well. You'll feel really drained after doing this and as if you're out of sorts. And not only that, other people may feel you're coming off as being uh, not well, kind of manipulative or too, what's the word I want to say? It's not codependent, too domineering maybe, like they're feeling like you're trying to control them, too controlling, maybe that's the word I was looking for.
We'll tell you in a minute, Helga, and thank you for asking. Um, Libra, I get the feeling here that this falls in between the idea of pursuing something that's kind of like a white lie, but maybe more dramatic than a white lie. Like you're moving towards giving false information or misleading information or not answering a question exactly right as part of this decision thing. And it may have some consequences. And it may be that you're trying to save somebody's feelings or your own feelings, but it may not work out exactly the way you think.
Right. And I think this is something to do with, I'm looking at the Lenormand for um, some place to ground this at. In other words, just what is this concerning? And I think it has to do with love or friendships. Um, right now. That's what it looks like to me,
Right. Yeah,
like
the lover's card.
your social situation, your interpersonal world.
I agree with that. So this is saying really check yourself a lot because you might feel you really have a reason to kind of do this. I'm thinking it's more leading towards misinformation with somebody, a white lie, as they call them.
Ah,
But I think it'll have more serious effects than you might imagine. So you really have to check yourself about this. The moon itself can add symbolically that idea of deceptions or masks or things. Be careful.
that's what we have for you. Before you pick those up, so Helga's asking about the Lenormand.
Uh huh.
And the Lenormand was a special gift to myself. I wish I could grab this one thing to show. Yes, I can.
The
It was.
Lenormand actually come in different forms.
Can I talk about my gift?
I guess so.
The Lenormand comes in different forms. He's right. But basically, they're card deck, just like the tarot. But somebody decided to make their own deck. They made a deck and then they made tiles of the deck. So these are actually hard tiles of a Lenormand deck, and they were not cheap. I spent, because this is an artist doing this work. I spent a lot for this. She created everything, including this gorgeous box that she created. So it's a wooden box, and basically the top comes off like that. It's just amazing, and it was such a beautiful, but it's very pricey. And I actually bought it as I was kind of forced into an early retirement situation, and I bought it as an early retirement gift to myself. So, um,
Do you remember the name of the company or that
yes,
person?
what I can
Yes.
do is I can give you the person's name. I'm going to put it in the chat, and I think she has an Etsy page, so you might be able to find her. She has other cards and decks, and she's a real interesting creator.
Yeah, we do get some comments about these tiles. They are really lovely.
That's her name right there. I just posted it. So look her up. And yeah, there's another deck of hers I wanted to get, just a regular deck. But even her decks are a little bit pricey. So I haven't gone there yet.
The system itself is called Lenormand.
Yeah.
Um, I've heard it pronounced different ways. We pronounce it Lenormand. And so, like we said, it comes in card forms as well as these tile forms.
They usually
Pretty
come in
cool.
even smaller sizes than this deck here that I have. Um, but just to show you, how some of the cards are similar. Here's the clover in this Lenormand. They're very
Allegorical, symbolical.
they're symbolic and allegorical, and they really dive into down to earth issues. of everyday life, maybe a little bit more than the tarot can.
Fortune telling,
Yeah. Yeah.
cartomancy.
All right. So
Good
while we
luck.
had the time to do that, I just wanted to fill you in. And thanks for asking. I love those tiles.
And we are on Christine.
Hi,
And
Christine.
then you, Helga. All right. And anyone else that
Really
happens to come in.
now. Okay.
Okay, Christine would like a general reading. Okay, so that's going to be my deck too. You're very welcome. Let's see. What deck do I want to use? Hi.
You're
I'm going,
very welcome, Helga.
I'm going to use my Nefertiri Golden.
Good to see you, Christine.
Good to see you. So I was at my physical therapy yesterday, and apparently they want me to have one more session. So I'm going back next Tuesday for that. But I've made a lot of improvement. I don't seem to be having the vertigo dizziness at all, even slightly. It's just very slight, if at all. I
Yay.
still have a little bit of some balance issues, but the rehab things I'm working on are pretty good. She's given me some pretty good exercises to work with, and I'm going to have to really work on incorporating them into my overall schedule because um, I just have a bod, and I have to reclaim it. That's what she said. She said, "You need to reclaim your body." Boy, ain't that the truth.
Come to my senior class. Boy, you'll stretch in ways.
Well, I have specific issues because of that back and neck thing that I have
I
going
wonder
on.
what you would have done with some of the arm work today.
All right, Christine,
All
general
right.
reading. And this card is showing up again. It's the reverse Nine of Wands.
Oh, Nine of
Oh,
Wands.
wait,
Yeah.
you had Nine of Pentacles. I'm
Well,
sorry.
but we have
Whoops.
the Nine of Wands in the in Aries reading.
Oh, that's right. That's
It's
her one. Yes.
reversed. Yeah.
So it's reversed again. Okay. Judgment is upright. And then the reversed Page of Cups called the Knave of
And the
Chalices.
Page of Cups came. No, it was Page of Wands.
Yeah.
Got it.
All right.
But that came up in a GIF. No, I guess it didn't. Okay, never mind. All right, before we go on, though, I want to remind, since a couple people came in since we announced it, that happy hour will be on at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time this week because Mr. O is working the day shift for once. He does
Yes,
that
I'm
once in a while.
being a working jerk once again.
So, okay, let's throw the Lenormand into the Smiths. Look at this. We got
The sun. How nice.
but then
Where's Victoria? Because we have her mice.
the Micey Mice are here. Oh boy. All right. Well, this is an interesting reading. So, refresh me on that one. That
That's the Nine of
the Nine
Wands
of Wands
reversed.
reversed. So, gee, Christine, that does not seem like you much, but maybe there's something in your life you really need to give up on, whatever it is. It might be just something that's interfering with other progress in some ways. Oh, you know what? Gosh, is it that court case? Is that still going on? You almost feel like you're at your wit's end with this or something.
Right, and there's the Judgment card there.
Mm.
And, to me, the Nine of Wands could spell a little sense of, preparedness too, and that maybe something is not quite there for you, or you need to take another look at it at least, or you need to address the issue that you are worrying about it. Maybe you are prepared as you can be, but it's stressing you.
Yeah, it's stressing you out a lot. Sometimes
Or
you
it
just
will be.
wish you could let whatever this is, whether it's that or something else,
Yeah, it could be something else, I
you
guess.
wish you could be done with it. You wish it could be finished. You wish you were finished with it. And in a sense, you're almost giving up hope on it. Um, I almost wonder if this is saying a judgment is coming. Some decision is on its.
Well, we know that you're in other kinds of contests too, of course, because of the martial arts stuff. So I don't know if it relates to that even. Um, the level of concern it maybe is too strong for that. I'm not sure.
Well, that's what I'm saying is it could be that or it could be something else in your life that I'm not aware of. I just
Okay.
brought that out. And of course, as Mr. O pointed out, it was because I saw the judgment card here. So if it is, I'm just going to go both ways with it. If it is about the court case, uh, it may be a judgment is coming, is going to be coming, is going to be due. If it's about something else, because I said you need to release or let go or give up on whatever you've been fighting for here, whatever you've been fighting to do or struggling to do, and, move on. It's time to renew. It's time to find a new path. It's time to maybe reawaken something else in your life to take that place, because it seems to me whatever this is taking up space and is not very helpful.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I see what you're saying there. So I'm not really sure either. But when I look finally at that card at the end, the Page of Cups reversed, I think this is saying there's a bittersweet kind of acceptance of where you may feel this will go or where you will find it will go. You won't feel like you're devastated, but you just won't feel like you made the progress you wanted to make, or the situation resolved well for you in your favor. Page of Cups.
Yeah, the Page of Cups to me, well, it just there's a couple things going on here. Maybe you need to connect more with your inner self, your intuition in this case, and ferret out what it is you really need to do here. Or this could indicate that it's not going to be the greatest news coming to you, especially if it's about this court case. It may not, turn out exactly as you had hoped for. A lot of times, depending on what this is, again, I'm forgetting a little bit about this, but depending on what this is, sometimes both sides are not happy with the decisions that are rendered. So it just seems like there might be some disappointing news, whether it's about that or something else. And I think here, if it's about what you need to get rid of, you really need to clear your head a little bit and think about this a little bit more. What is occupying and taking up space and stopping me from, recreating myself or bringing out a new me? And I think this is a matter that you could take care of fairly easily, because the mice is here with the sun. For goodness sakes, the mice is temporary stresses and disappointments. So, in other words, don't make it any bigger than it seems to be and just take care of it. You'll be successful once you do. I think here that maybe it's really more of a smaller matter than you think it is, and you could move on from here. So you may not, and if it's the court case, you may not get the results that you had hoped for, but it really isn't as bad as it could have been. Let's put it that way.
Well, it has been a long time, I guess. And I'm wondering too, maybe if this is saying some news is coming through sooner than maybe, although you're not expecting it, but it might be. But I think ultimately we're right here, or Banshee's got something there that it may not be as problematic as it seems, although you have a big concern there. Things seem to be pulling through with the sun. And even to me, judgment, even though we're looking at the other cards in relationship to it, it sounds like that idea that maybe, your name comes back, sort of a rebirth in a way.
I hope so.
That would be nice.
I think that, you'll get something out of this, but there's something disappointing happening here too. Hmm. It's a mixed bag, but the sun does add a little bit more weight to, this will be satisfying enough just to be done with something you no longer need in your life and bringing out something new. So I wish
Good
you
luck.
luck with that.
Hey, Sonny, back again.
I see what you're saying about it being overseas. Yeah, things may
That takes a
operate.
while, yeah.
Yeah,
And
and
especially with all the
viewpoint there.
weirdness in our country right now with our overseas relations.
Oh, man. All right, let's see.
We're on Helga.
Hi, Helga. And you wanted to know if there's love in the picture for you or some such thing, I believe.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, is love in the cards anytime soon? Well, let's take a look. All right.
You're welcome, Christine.
Just debating. I got all these ducks. Let's use this one. Okay. Oh, did you need these? Sorry.
Right.
Did I not post the list? Oops.
Well, there's only Helga on it.
Well, don't jinx us now by saying that, Mr. O.
That's how we get drum up our business here.
All right. Sunny is confused by my wearing the hat.
Sunny Bunny. Lay down, you.
All right, one more. There you go.
One of my coworkers went to Egypt for their birthday. I think they're there 9 days or something like that.
So are they back?
No, they're leaving
They're-
this weekend. Yeah, so
Nice.
yeah, I think that's kind of cool. We had a friend that used to go to Egypt.
Well, you've got the Seven of Cups reversed. Four of Pentacles is reversed. Ooh. The Two of Cups is upright. What you got, Mr. O? That's an interesting reading right here. It's possible something's coming. Oh,
Oh,
why do you have to rain on our parade?
the cat's name is Sunny. Him and his two sisters, we got them all the same day. They're from the same litter, and they all have an S name. Sunny, Sassy, and Shadow. Shadow's a black cat, of course. And then your other Lenormand is the star.
Yes, that paints a whole different picture there.
Okay. Is love in the cards? Maybe.
Maybe. I it's kind of interesting, Helga. I don't know if this is you making a choice or decision about someone or somebody making a move, choice, or decision towards you. But somebody's in the process of doing that. Maybe, choosing you out of other options out there. I know, isn't it
I often
funny?
feel this card suggests that whether you're the chooser or the choosee, there's more people involved in all
There
this.
could be more than one option. That's right. So is this could be that there may be more people, interested in you coming your way. Um,
Or vice versa.
the Four of Pentacles indicates to me that
We do too.
when it's reversed, that something needs to be let go of, though. Something needs to be released. Maybe some attitudes or beliefs that you've been holding on to that maybe aren't productive or healthy as far as it goes. Like, for example, do you think you're not worthy? Stuff like that. It's time to get rid of any kind of negative attitudes that you might be having either about starting a new relationship or that you're worthy to receive somebody who's actually good for you.
I have a different feel with that card. To me, that card says is the card of a person who has love to give away, who wants to give of themselves.
I had another thought as I was looking at it with the seven, with these seven of Cups here, and I was thinking to myself that maybe this is about eliminating some of the options,
Oh,
right? Releasing some of the options and choosing the right one. It kind of does fit together in a story here. And so, what happens in the end? It culminates into a relationship with one person that's starting getting off the ground and looks pretty promising to me. I mean, the Two of Cups shows a harmony, a real clicking with somebody. It's as if you both have a lot of the same interests and positive things going for this relationship. So I think a relationship may be coming if you are looking for one.
I like that you have a black cat named Bowie
Oh,
and a bunny too. That's so cool.
nice. We have a lot of bunnies outside here
Yeah,
at the
we get
front
bunnies all the
door.
time back there.
Yeah.
So I do agree with Banshee here. The Two of Cups does seem like a relationship beginning, something happening, harmony, trust, feeling like, pushing towards each other. And I feel that those three cards are kind of telling that
Aren't
story
they
to
like a
some degree.
sequence?
They are like a sequence, and so it does feel like you're being noticed or you're noticing, but it also may be talking about the general environment that you feel that there are people that maybe you could, be interested in, but maybe you feel yourself drawing towards one because you feel that love or that feeling inside of you wants to go towards them. It wants to come from you and go towards them.
Yeah, wow. And, that card could be too about recognizing who's right for you, who should be
Okay.
who should the right person, the person that really would value you for who you are, you know and I look at the Lenormand. You have the star here and you have the cross. Now mind you, the cross is often about grief and sorrow that can have a lot of tendrils. It's like a long lasting thing, but I feel here there's a story between these two too. And I think that take yourself out of a place of grief or lack or disappointment with love and start feeling more optimistic about the possibilities here. Because I think optimism is going to return soon as something looks like it could be happening or developing. Now, you asked about time. I'm very wary to use my timing cards because sometimes they can say some real far out things. But I want to do it anyway and just see what we get and see if this is going to happen anytime soon. If it says it's not going to happen right away, well, I don't buy that. We'll talk about it if it
Well, I think the
happens.
overall story, especially now that I see those Lenormand there, that maybe you have
Yeah.
felt that, you have felt some disappointment about romance or about, being with people, or maybe you felt it has been a while and now you're feeling more optimistic about it, or those feelings tend to overwhelm the feelings of loneliness or not being connected to others that you may be feeling, and so you realize it is a twofold process, and you have to give a little to get a little, as they say. That's maybe what that Four of Pentacles is, the idea of evaluating what you have, what is yourself, and whether you're going to hold it closer or whether you're going to let it go a little bit.
Oh, jeepers.
Jeepers creepers.
Wow. Okay.
1 month. Do it, Helga.
And this one says you have to remain consistently positive. Just like that card. Consistently positive. Once that happens,
Within 2 months.
so between 1 to 2 months from now, your love life might be picking up a bit.
Well, you'll definitely have to tell us if it's
Yeah,
true.
absolutely. So that looks really promising. I never know what to think when I pull these cards because there's actually a card in here that says 10 years. I
No,
needed to tell you that.
we don't want that one. That
So good luck. I wish you luck with that.
was pretty awesome.
Wow, I can't believe nobody else has come by now. Isn't that
Mm,
shocking?
it is kind of shocking. That may be our first time.
Yeah, but this is what happens certain times of the year. I can't explain it. Sometimes right after Christmas, like it gets really slow as well. And
Sometimes in the summer.
after Valentine's Day for a little bit too. It's like 3 times a year we get a little bit slow here. But we can spend more time on the readings like we have tonight and do that for you. So there's some benefits. Well, do we want to talk about upcoming shows, Mr. O? Let's
Uh,
always do that
just our
before we
regular
close.
shows. Tomorrow, of course, once again, I'm mentioning my romance themed emotional exchanges. It's my reading for every sign of the zodiac. It's just a quick pull of two cards. The first card represents the energy or vibration coming to you, and then the bottom card from the deck for each sign is will you be lucky in love, romance, etc. Then on Saturday, as we mentioned, the happy hour at 4 p.m. And happy hour is just a one card pull. It's live. Everybody in the chat room gets a card offering a positive or uplifting message, possibly from spirit. So come to happy hour. It's normally at 10 a.m. Saturdays. This week it'll be at 4 p.m. And then, of course, you can also see Banshee's show on Sunday mornings.
Material Matters Show. It's a weekly show I do for business, education, and finance for each of the astrological signs of the zodiac. It's a nice 3 card reading and for your week ahead. And I give a little update on some of the crazy stuff happening in the US or world economy, that might be impacting people. So join me for the show. We are live in the chat. We have a lot of fun talking with the audience while the video plays. So, and that comes at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time before our Sunday live show, which we'll be back doing readings just like these on Sunday. And I think that's it for now. We will have some other special shows coming up soon.
Yeah, more unboxings,
Oh,
or
yeah.
possibly revisiting past lives.
I'm going to be doing an unboxing of the Magical Hours Tarot, which I've been using for cards for the collective this week on social media. And so look for that to come out soon. I'm hoping to do that video tomorrow some point. I
I'm
was actually thinking of staying up late tonight to do it, but I don't think I'm going to be.
I'm probably gonna do a special episode of Goth Tarot for the summer solstice. That's on Saturday the 21st. So it'll just be a recorded show that'll play later that day, and it'll be some cards of shadow and light, because of course that's what the solstice is about.
All right, I think gosh, I guess we're going to wrap up like super early today,
It's
which is
okay.
good because I still have to write the card for the collective for tomorrow. Mr. O is well aware of that. I don't want to keep him waiting. He does his little magical stuff for the YouTube version and Instagram, right? Instagram.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, yes, yes. So just want to thank everybody. All the questions were interesting tonight. We love you all,
Thank you.
and thanks for coming. And hopefully we will see you all very soon.
Bye bye.
Bye for now.